A reading from Psalm 122, as found in the New Revised Standard Version, Updated Edition. Song of praise and prayer for Jerusalem, a song of ascents of David. I was glad when they said to me, "Let us go to the house of the Lord. Our feet are standing within your gates, O Jerusalem. Jerusalem, built as a city that is bound firmly together. To it the tribes go up, the tribes of the Lord, as was decreed for Israel, to give thanks to the name of the Lord. For there the thrones for judgment were set up, the thrones of the house of David. Pray for the peace of Jerusalem. May they prosper who love you. Peace be within your walls and security within your towers. For the sake of my relatives and friends, I will say, peace be within you. For the sake of the house of the Lord our God, I will seek your good." The word of the Lord.
Happy New Year. It is good to see you all in this new year, and this as we turn the calendar over. We don't still do that. No. Electronically, our phones turn our calendars over to the new year. We are happy and excited that you're here with us as we start 2026 together here in this sacred space. Today is also Epiphany within the life of the church. That was the day when the wise men, the magi, the kings, whatever you want to call them, they went back by a different way. They saw, they heard in a dream that they needed to go back by a different way so that they would not be captured by the governor at the time. So they went back a different way, and Jesus and his family fled into Egypt. It's a reminder to keep our eyes open and our ears open as well to God's calling within our lives. To keep us safe, to keep others safe, and to remind us that God continues to be at work within our lives. Today we start a new sermon series that's going to carry us through the month of January that we're calling Ekklesia. Yes, it's spelled with two K's in there because we're taking the Latin version of the word Ekklesia, which means to gather, to come together. It also means to call people out in order to come together. Not to call people out because they didn't put the toilet seat down. No, it's to call people out in order to come together. This is what we're called to do. So Ekklesia is where we're going to be starting off this new year. It's also a theme that we're going to carry with us throughout the entire year, the importance of gathering together. So if you walk with us during this entire year, you're going to hear us say over and over and over and over and over again how important it is that we continue to build community, that we continue to bring ourselves into gatherings with other people, and to invite people into those gatherings as well. So if you stick around with us by the end of 2026, you're either going to be tired of us saying this, or it's going to click, and you say, this is where we're going. This is where we're going. So Ekklesia, the called out ones. So in the passage that Jeff read for us this morning, we are in the book of Psalms, which was this worship book that was used by the Israelite people that we continue to use today. These psalms, these sacred songs or prayers that were composed over generations were used in worship. And in this Psalm 122 today, we find the psalmist talking about how important it is for people to come together to worship. Come together in the Lord's house. Come on, let's go. Let's go to the Lord's house. It starts off by saying, let's go together. Great things are going to happen there. But I also recognize that for some of us, getting up early on Sunday morning when it is 28 degrees outside can be a difficult thing. I also recognize it can be a difficult thing if we've been called to lead the church, and if you're a trustee and you roll up to the church and you see that the lamppost outside is bent over, that means that we have to do a little bit more work around here. So for some folks, stress can come when it comes to coming to worship. What we're trying to get across here, what the psalmist is trying to get across here, are the possibilities of what it means to come together, to remind ourselves of the good that comes when we gather together. I know for some of us, 5 years ago, we were shocked when we woke up and we found out that we couldn't gather anymore in person. When COVID shut the world down, it's actually 6 years ago, we're in 2026, I forgot to turn the calendar over in my head. We couldn't gather like we used to. We couldn't go out to gather in restaurants or eat out. Movies were off the table, as well as concerts. That vacation that you were planning, guess what? You couldn't get on a plane for a little while. The ability to gather had been taken away from us in order to protect one another. And I give thanks for all of you who took that seriously. But within that time, we churches scrambled for what to do next. It was clumsy. It was hard, but we found ways to make it happen. The churches where I was at were in Hoboken and Jersey City at the time, and we pushed everything online. So Zoom was the way in which we started. Do you remember that? The Brady Bunch way of looking at people on a computer screen trying to find ways to worship. For those of you who are singing choirs, the click tracks that were going off in your ear in order to keep time. The ways in which we recorded music in order to gather together, finding elements around your household to have communion, whether it was grape juice or water or milk or Ritz crackers or Oreos or whatever you could find in order to partake in online worship. At our household, we moved in with my folks for a couple of months. We moved down to Jersey Shore, and we found ourselves scrambling to try and do worship. When the weather finally got nice, we decided to go outside and actually record from our garage with shorts on and beach chairs. We did what we could. But I know for a lot of us, it wasn't the same. We weren't able to gather like we would normally do. Sure, we might have had fellowship events and Bible studies on Zoom. I ran into a lot of people who called up friends who they hadn't talked to in years from across the country and reconnected with them. But still, it really wasn't as tight. It didn't feel as good as this is right here. In fact, one of the churches where I was serving wanted so badly to worship, they said, well, what if we just come in shifts and we can sit in different parts of the sanctuary and worship together? But in order to stay safe, in order to take care of one another, in order to look out for our neighbors, we stayed inside. And as a pastor, it was the hardest thing I've ever had to do in my ministry. Because we couldn't care for folks like we wanted to. The opportunities to gather for funerals and celebrate a person's life were life-draining rather than life-giving. They took away from what we as pastors wanted to create, which was a vibrant community. A community that saw the good within one another and raised one another up. It was hard. It was difficult. You know, scientists, as they continue to study what it means to have personal reactions, realize and recognize the importance of being in community with one another. They know that when we gather, even if it's on a busy train or in a worship service or around a table to eat, There's something that happens within us that stimulates our brains, that allows us to be more healthy people. The Mediterranean diet, which I try to get myself on as much as possible, but then Christmas comes along and the cookies are just too darn good. It values eating in a certain way, with cooking with olive oil and eating fish and eating a lot of good, healthy fats. But one of the more important things that the Mediterranean diet asks you to do is to eat as often as possible with other people. Not by yourself, but with other people. Because there's something that happens within the body when you eat with other people, that digestion happens a little bit better. And it's better for your system. I mean, during the days of COVID, it was great because we could just go and watch whatever show we wanted to from the time we woke up to the time we went to bed. Maybe we'll get some work done somewhere in there, but we could entertain ourselves. But now, as we continue to live outside of that bubble, we still hold on to the traits that made it easier to turn things off, to turn other people off, and to live in isolation. Folks, we are at a time right now where folks are more lonely than ever, even though we're more connected than we've ever been. We find solace in television shows and on the internet. But yet, loneliness is still at an all-time high. We don't feel seen or heard. And we tend to gravitate towards places where we're less challenged, and everyone that we talk to looks exactly like us, thinks like us, votes like us, and believes that we are absolutely right. The ancient church, Ekklesia, was a gathering of people from different backgrounds. People from different walks of life who might be shepherds or sell wares. They grew up in ways that where diversity tended to be true. And with that came disagreements. I wonder if where we're at right now is that we are afraid to put ourselves in situations where we might disagree because we might lose. I think the real power in diversity of thought, of economy, of background, of who we are, is that we can disagree. But we can also find ways to reach a common goal together. Folks, Ekklesia is not pretty. It is not perfect. But out of that comes something new, where diversity of thought, diversity of background, diversity of who we are is treasured because we get to learn more about people. And that only comes together when you are willing to put yourself out there. I know that for some of us right now, we have our phones open. Not you here, but folks online. Your phones are open. They might be on the dashboard of your car. Your laptop might be open, worshiping with us right here and right now. You are a part of this community. And we want to find ways in order to engage you more often. On average, we have somewhere between 40 and 60 people who worship with us online every single week. Not on Sunday exactly, but throughout the course of the week. And we want you who are worshiping with us online to feel like you're more part of this community here. So we invite you this week to take 5 minutes, not 5 minutes, 2 minutes, to email us, to let us know how we can better be involved with you, what you would like to see in your church here, and how we can grow together in community. Because we can't shun the folks who aren't here right now, because they are very much a part of our community. But for us to find ways to come back together is incredibly important. And I also know that for a lot of folks here, with the new year, that also means you need to go back to the office. We're working remotely has been changed to 3 days a week, and 3 days to 5 days a week. I know for a lot of you, the commute in to New York City or around the area is going to be a tough one, where your hours are changed and life just feels a little bit different. I invite you as you move into this time of moving back into work that is more in person, to live into the uncomfortableness of having to stand a little bit longer on your train rides, to sit in traffic wondering if you're going to be on time, but also to see the value in the people who you work with, in their imperfections, in who they are as people, and what they can teach you about God's grace. This year, friends, is an opportunity for us to learn about others and for others to learn about us. To be called out of our comfortable places and to gather with others. We invite you to invite people to our gatherings, whether it's game night, whether it's Thursday night out, whether it's our Easter egg hunt, our Christmas pageant, however motley that might be, to remind us that God is continuing at work, creating space for us to worship, to find stillness, but to also find the beauty within God's creation. To know that each of us has gifts upon us. The first Sunday of the year within the church, especially within the United Methodist Church, is a way of renewal. It's a reminder that things start fresh. Today we're going to do something that we'd like to do on a regular basis at the beginning of every year, where we remind ourselves of the importance of our baptism. Within the Methodist Church, we invite folks to remember their baptism on the first Sunday of the year and also to say the Wesleyan Covenant Prayer. It's on the prayer cards there in front of you. We're going to say that during communion today. But also during communion, we're going to have our baptismal bowl up front here, which has some seashells in it. These seashells are ones that we've collected throughout the years. Either you have or other folks have that we continue to put in this bowl from different beaches that you've been to. And so as you come forward today, we invite you to take one of those seashells home with you to remind you of your baptism, to remind you that you are a beloved creation of God. Now, if you're not baptized, don't worry. We've got a program for that. We've been in conversations with some folks who aren't baptized in this church, but are interested in being a part of it. Baptism is just a way of reminding us that God continues to draw us together. It's an act of the community to see the good that is within other people and to raise them up. So as you come forward today during communion, we invite you to take one of those seashells, to take it home with you, to put it in a visible spot. Maybe it's next to your TV, on your dining room table. Maybe it's by your bedside, so that each day that you wake up, you are reminded that you are a beloved child of God and that there are people around you waking up doing the exact same thing. So Happy New Year. There are good things ahead of us. So in this year, take this message of hope with you as you go. That while there are forces out there trying to divide us, trying to tear us apart, trying to find cynicism in us every day, we are the light that brings people together. We are seeking the peace that the world desperately needs to do good, to create change, and to be humble within our communities in all that we do.